Hi guys, welcome back to Waxing On. It's Monday and that means it's jazz on Waxing On. And today we're going to look at one of the icons of jazz trumpet playing, singer, performer, entertainer, Louis Armstrong. Now back in the days when I was a young trumpet player, I mentioned earlier we usually saw people like Herb Alpert. He had a lot of specials. Al Hirt was a guest on a number of shows. And Louis Armstrong was a regular guest on a lot of variety programs. I remember seeing him on the Ed Sullivan Show numerous times. And he was just one of the legends of jazz. Now, about 1972, I got my first Louis Armstrong album, and it was called Satchmo Golden Favorites. And this was on Decca Records. And it was a pretty standard fare. The downside, again in 1972, is there's not a lot of information on who's playing on these albums. So we don't know who the sidemen are, and not a lot of information about the recordings. The songs included some classics, Jeepers Creepers, Kiss to Build a Dream On, Old Man Mose, I Can't Give You Anything But Love, the Whiff and Puff song, La Vie en Rose, Someday You'll Be Sorry, Blueberry Hill, Sunny Side of the Street, I'll Be Glad When You're Dead, You Rascal You, and When It's Sleepy Time Down South. Now this is pretty standard stuff for Louis Armstrong, and these are really classic hits. And it was my first actual recording that I had of Louis Armstrong. So I went out again after and picked up some other albums, and they were all very similar. A lot of vocals, some trumpet playing in there as well, sometimes some guests. And one of the ones, if you remember a week or two ago, we talked in the discount bins about Pickwick records. And this is another Pickwick special. Louis Armstrong, Mame. And again, pretty standard fare for Louis, but a lot of very popular songs and songs that he often performed on the variety shows I'd watched him on. Mame, Circle of Your Arms, So Long Dearie from Hello Dolly, Tin Roof Blues, When the Saints Go Marching In, one that he'd actually written called Cheesecake, Tyree's Blues. Now, his trombone player at the time was a guy named Tyree Glenn, who did trombone and vocals. Very similar to what we talked about with Benny Goodman, Jack Teagarden, where he was doing vocals and trombone, and he also appears on a couple of Louis Armstrong cuts here later on. But in this case, it was Tyree Glenn that was doing it. Pretty Little Missy, Short But Sweet, and another song by Louis Armstrong, By and By. Now, no surprises, just some classic jazz performed. And again, Louis was known as much for his singing as for his trumpet playing. So this was one actually I could have had the other day in my discount bins because, again, Pickwick were not expensive albums, but they put out some good products. And in the same vein, once I got to CDs, I found this one on Laser Light, which, again, I really don't know the label. I don't know who put them out, and it was called the Jazz Collector's Edition, Louis Armstrong. Now, what was nice about this, and this is what we got into earlier too, when the CDs came along, we kind of got back into more information, and I don't know if you can see it very well there, but there's a pile of information about who's playing on the songs, and that's really unusual, especially in discount bin finds. Pretty standard fare in the line of music again: Kiss to Build a Dream On, Cabaret, Please Don't Talk About Me When I'm Gone, Blueberry Hill, Hello Dolly, King Porter Stomp, I Can't Give You Anything But Love. 14 cuts. Really good value for the price on this. And we got Tyree Glenn doing vocals and trombones. We mentioned him. We got Jack Teagarden doing some on here as well. Peanuts Hucko on clarinet. Eddie Condon on guitar. We've got Louis Armstrong with an actual big band that recorded at Carnegie Hall. So a lot of good stuff. And again, this one was like about $2 or maybe $3. So you never know what you're going to find. Nowadays, the discount bins, you might find them in the large department stores where they have all those CDs just massed together in big bins and you have to go through them. A lot of albums you'll find at yard sales, bargain centers, flea markets. You never know where you're going to find some of these classics. Now, online, you're not going to go wrong with anything by Louis Armstrong. So check out what you can. You may not find these albums. Again, these may be long out of print, especially the Pickwick ones, the Louis Armstrong Maine. But a lot of the same songs show up on a lot of his recordings. So you can certainly get an idea of what it's all about. So today we're looking at one of the icons of jazz, singer, songwriter, trumpet player, Louis Armstrong. Check him out. We'll see you on Wednesday when it's Classic Rock.